What's up guys, Erroneous here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. In today's video, I'm going to be diving into Cursed City for you. Now there's only 11 hours left of this rotation, unfortunately, but I did have a viewer, a subscriber of mine, who requested I showcase how to complete stage C8 in Cursed City on hard mode, and that is the Bommel boss. So this is stage C8. Now this is one variation you can utilize that you can beat the Bommel boss. And I beat this boss in about a minute and 30, and it's pretty quick. Now, a couple things to note. You don't want to decrease the speed on the Bommel boss. If you decrease his speed, he drops more dread bombs. So if you take a look here, he can place bombs on you as well. So if you take a look here, Rain of Bombs removes all buffs from all enemies, then attacks them and places a bomb debuff on each enemy that detonates after 2 turns, and places an additional bomb debuff for each buff removed by the skill. The bomb debuffs cannot be blocked or removed. However, they can be resisted. So bringing in high resistance champions such as Oella, Elva, you can put high resist on. You can put high resist on Emic. You could also swap out Oella if you don't have her for someone like a Beauregard. Beauregard is great because he can remove a random debuff from all allies and place a shield on all allies equal to 20% of his max HP, which is really helpful. You could also go in with a shield buff on somebody like Emic, for example, or Elva. You could go in on a shield buff. If you don't have Elva, for example, you can swap in an all battles aura with Beauregard. You could swap in Emic here, but say you don't have Beauregard, you could throw in Emic in the lead. You can throw in Oella here as well. Now he has faction. This guy here is a rare champion who also can be utilized in a previous video on, I think it was D8 or D9 that I posted. Check out the video. It was in Cursed City. It was a later stage. Actually, not D9. It was S8 rather. So Sentinel, damage dealer. Baroth, the Blood Soak, also a damage dealer. I recommend at least 2 damage dealers if possible. If you don't have damage dealers like these two here, then you can utilize supports, because there's HPs and supports, and these two are HP based champions. So you keep in mind that. You could also bring in double Baroth, because they do hit hard and they're single target, so you could just target the boss the entire time. Also keep in mind, putting decreased attack on the boss is helpful. Putting block debuffs as a buff on your allies is helpful. So someone like an Elva is very strong at that, because she places it on her Nature's Path ability, block debuffs and increase speed. You can also utilize someone like this chick right here, Ostrid Dreamsong. She can place a, that she can't place, of course, asleep, but she can attack all enemies, decrease speed on the boss, weaken on the boss. But the issue is she will decrease turn meter. So again, you do not want to decrease turn meter, or else more dread bombs will be dropped, and she can actually be negatively impactful against you. However, you could just utilize the grants an extra turn ability, increase your own team speed if you're lacking speed, increase your own team's attack to do more damage against the boss, and then just go with the A1, and don't utilize this unless you just utilize it one time. I would recommend using it one time or just not at all. And then this one here, whenever this champion or an ally has their turn meter increased, heals them. So based on their max HP. So she could actually be your main healer, and she has speed, but it's in arena. So, but she could be a healer of yours if you needed it on the team. So, but this would be a manual run because you can't do presets. However, if I were to not use her, I can do a full auto run pretty easily with a team like this. This is the team that I used, and it beats it in about a minute and a half. I'll showcase to you the team now. Let's go in here and just target the boss, because if you don't target the boss, your champions will actually, when they do an attack ability on a active skill, they'll end up attacking the bombs, the dread bombs that get dropped, which is really annoying. I don't know why they do that, but it is what it is. So just make sure you're targeting the boss and you'll be just fine. So here we go. We're just doing straight up damage to the boss. We're not taking too much damage from the boss himself. We have the block debuff buff up and active. We have increased resistance. Oella is really awesome at this because she can also extend buffs. This is actually going to be a faster run, I feel like. So we did drop turn meter one time, which is not good. So you get a refresh. But also Emic comes in clutch with the the unkillable, having the unkillable, even if the dread bombs go off, we're just not going to die because of that unkillable, the buff. But we didn't end up dying, and we didn't have the unkillable there at the end, so we were good regardless. So we just had decent stats. We actually beat it even faster this time, 52 seconds. So a very fast run here, and I will showcase this team to you. But like I said, editing the team, you can also use someone, if you don't have a healer, I do recommend putting Owella or someone that has increased resist, or just placing someone who has an increased resist aura, or even someone who can do block debuff buff. Someone like Sky Touch Shaman could even work. She places removes all buffs from allies, and then places block debuffs buff and revive on death for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. I would highly recommend her with high HP because she also is a healer. She can heal by 15% of the damage inflicted if this champion has less than 50% HP. Boost the champion's turn meter by 20% instead if this champion has over 50% HP. And then this, of course, she ends up putting a fear on herself every turn. So damages this champion by 10% of their max HP at the start of her turn, and heals all allies except this champion equal to half this champion's current lost HP. Place a decreased speed debuff on this champion at the start of each turn, and 50% chance of placing a fear debuff for 1 turn. Now I do recommend putting her in a relentless set if possible, or a potentially a reflex set to try to get this ability, block debuffs and revive on death, as often as possible. She also has an ally HP in all battles, which is super helpful against those dread bombs when you're taking pure damage from them. You can also put in a Demitha who helps with healing, increase the duration of buffs, which is great for block debuffs buff. So you could do something like, if you can't use Emmet because you don't have them, you could do something like this with the Elva in the lead to increase your speed. If you don't have Elva, take her out. You can put an HP in all battles, something like this. And then you can also put in something like this, which is an even more free-to-play friendly team. This guy, Master Butcher, is a rare champion. He works very similar to like a Vogoth, except his passive with healing, it says it only works every turn. So he has to take a turn, and when attacked, heals all allies equal to the amount of damage taken. So it works against those dread bombs. So that way, if he does take damage, he'll help heal the allies next to you, and then you can take that additional damage from the second dread bomb. If you take 3 or 4 dread bombs, you're possibly going to die without having an unkillable on the team. So the other thing with dread bombs is, let me just double check, do dread bombs destroy through block damage? Each time to blah, da, da, so bombs debuffs cannot be blocked or removed. I don't believe that dread bombs can go through block damage. So the good thing is you can put block damage and survive them. I'm just going to make sure it actually works or not. Now this team is a little bit weak, but let's go ahead and try to manual because I don't have everybody maxed out. So what we'll do is we will just start off with the A1, and we'll go ahead and we can't even place so this is like a double-edged sword with Sky Touch Shaman. We want to place the block debuffs buff. So let's go ahead and do that really quickly. So A1, and hopefully she doesn't get feared. We get feared again. So basically you're just going to do this until you can place block debuffs buff so we don't take the HP burns or initial bombs as well. There we go, block debuffs buff. Then she removed the buff. And then we go ahead and just A1. We also have revive on death. Let's go ahead and do Serpent. Do some decreased attack, decreased defense. Now we want to do damage. Boom. And then, so we did get a bomb here, which can't be removed, which is not great. And then this one here can increase the duration of ally buffs. So we'll do that on the block debuffs. So there we go. We resisted everything, and we didn't have any issues with getting bombs, which is actually really nice. And we're only level 40 here with our Sky Touch Shaman. And then we can wait for the block damage because I want to try out the block damage against the bombs. I don't recall off the top of my head if it will mitigate the bomb damage. I think it ignores it, but I'm just going to double check here. Let's wait again. Do A1s. So yeah, so this is just manual. As long as you beat it one time, that's it. You only need to beat it once. So here we go. We're still manualing. A1, A1. And then now, I think if I do the block damage, I don't know if the bombs are going to go off or not, but let's just try it. So that's fine. He can take the damage. So yes, it does block the bomb damage if you place a block damage on your allies. And Demytha is going to be your person for this. Okay, that's a good champion for this one. But you have to manual it, right? Because you have to do it at the right time. Because some people will take damage and some people won't take damage. We want to go ahead and extend the continuous heals as well and heal up with Demytha. Also very strong. Continue to do damage. And we're going to just keep hitting A1. We want to use the right abilities at the right time as well. Hit the A1 there. A1. Go ahead with a decreased attack, decreased defense again from our Barroth. Boom. Some damage here again. And let's go ahead and place the block damage with continuous heal again. And then full auto the rest of the way. So we should be good at this point. About a 2-minute run. Like I said, not too bad there. We even have the block revive, or revive on death, as well as block revive on our champions. And there you go. I just did it with a bunch of epics and rares. So it's actually fairly easy as long as you have some damage. You know, you have 2 damage dealers, or at least have the resistance and a couple of support champions. Master Butcher does this very well. He takes damage and then heals everybody. Demytha heals everybody. She's a clan boss champion. She places block damage as well, which helps against the bomb damage mitigation. And then Sky Touch Shaman, of course, placing block debuffs so we don't get bombs or HP burn from the boss. So, and again, she's only level 40. So not bad there. Again, so many different options you can do. You can also bring in, if you have all legendaries, you can bring in Underpriest. He just does the block debuffs even better than Sky Touched Shaman. And then you can bring in even a guy like this, Duodan the Runic, a shield on all allies equal to 15% of his match HP. Also increases the duration of ally buffs. Again, works really well with block debuffs. Places a strengthen and taunt on himself, which is really nice. And he has increased defense in all battles. Other champions you could use, similar like Woad Painted, crazy good healing champion. She does have remove all buffs on this champion and 1 random debuff from all allies, and heals this champion by 100% of their max HP. Heals the allies equal to 50% of the surplus heal, and then afterwards places a reflect damage on all allies and grants an extra turn. So then she can do her damaging abilities afterwards. So she's not a super crazy damage dealer, but she will do some damage and help. But mainly she's there for healing and keeping you guys alive. So putting her in a high shield set or even a bolster set would be very beneficial. And the bolster set will help because the boss won't be able to remove or strip the bolster off of your team. So super, super powerful. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for this one. Let me go ahead and showcase to you the champions, the gear that I had in terms of the faster champions. So if I go to recently used here, you can see Barroth is still in my damage build. It is a high damage build. You don't need it to be this crazy. He could go like 60k HP, 170 speed, 200 crit damage. He'll be fine. Demytha is just in a speed build from my old clan boss composition. And I think she's in my, is she in my current one? Yes, she is. So 274 speed. She doesn't need to be that fast. Maybe like 240 speed is fine. She doesn't need to even have any resistance. As you can see, no accuracy needed. Decent HP, nothing crazy, decent defense. And of course, you can get Cursed City arena area bonuses will help you tremendously. So make sure you're farming live arena. You need to participate in live arena to make Cursed City that much easier for you. Masteries, I went with War Master on Demytha. Masteries on him for Barroth is the Helm Smasher. Sentinel is also Helm Smasher for masteries. Fully booked, and fully booked on all these 3 champions. I recommend going with Phantom Touch or Crushing Rend on the damage dealers. And then Sentinel's also in a damage build. This is a very high-end damage build for a rare champion. You don't need him to be this much damage. He could be like 3,000 attack or 2,800 attack with 180 speed, 100% crit rate, 200 crit damage. He'd be good, no accuracy needed. And you saw that he was still landing debuffs from time to time. But again, having the Cursed City area bonus does help tremendously, especially the speed bonus one. Focus on the speed one first for Cursed City if you can. And then Helm Smasher, fully booked. Then we got Master Butcher. He is there to help heal everybody up with the passive. If he dies, he also revives one ally, which is very, very helpful and beneficial. Provoke's not needed. Increase attack on him on all allies and increase crit rate, which is nice. And then you can go into, if you want more damage, of course. And then, of course, we've got Sky Touch Shaman. She's in random crappy gear, and he's in a regen set. I didn't show you this guy's gear, really. His total stats are 192 speed, 58,000 HP, 250 accuracy, 310 resistance. And, of course, again, the area bonuses help. And then we've got Sky Touch Shaman, who is 201 speed, and then 200 resistance, 30k HP, 1600 on the defense. So nothing crazy, no masteries, no books in her at all. I put her in cruelty, but you could put her in other blessings as well, you know, that will help her. I put cruelty just because whenever this champion hits an enemy, it will decrease their defense. So for bosses, every time she hits them, it decreases by 1% up to 10% on that boss. So you can do more damage to him over time. All right, I think that's going to be it for this one, guys. I won't show you the other champions just because those are really strong champions, and this is more for like those players who are struggling on early stages of hard Curse City. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below and which champions did you use to complete this stage. Thanks again for watching. Please consider subscribing, or at the very least, leave a like on the video, and I'll see you on a video soon. Take care.